guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lost in Dead Space, and if you clicked on this video, then you have the same question that everyone else has. Is today, in our time, 2020, is Fallout 76 considered good or bad? This is a question that I've had for a little bit, and it's actually helped me jumpstart a brand new series on my channel where I'm going to be breaking down games that were controversial at start, maybe overhyped, or just straight up interesting, or games that I have an interest in. I don't know. It could go anywhere. But basically, I'm going to be comparing them from their at launch state versus where they are at now when the video is released, and breaking them down into 5 categories that I believe makes up what a game is all about. So we got combat and gimmick. A gimmick game would be something like Bejeweled or like a sports game, and that would take up the combat aspect of a video game. Story and world building. The gimmick takes up this spot too, because if you have a sports game, the world building would be all around that, and that's okay. The interactions online, this is a huge part of the game. You can either have toxic, cancerous little kids on there, or you can have a very healthy community that makes the game even better. Second and last, we have the fun-ness, which is a word I just created, and why. And last but not least, the value of the overall game compared to where it was at start or where it is just right now. And I will be ranking these all together at the end of the video, because who does not like seeing stuff being ranked so you can argue or bitch or agree to my arguments. So first up on the list, we have combat. Now, combat is where this game really shines. Now, this game does not control like Call of Duty, but what it does do is play like a Fallout game. An in-between sort of Fallout 3 and New Vegas versus Fallout 4. It has more of a clunkiness and a tactile feel to it that the older games had. And if you haven't played those older games, a great way of describing it would be like driving an old car versus like a Tesla or a brand new Buick. The Tesla and Buick would be more like Call of Duty and Dark Souls with the perfected mechanics and sensitivity that those two games are known for, versus something like an old Ferrari or a Porsche where you really feel those gears shifting and revving. And they're both great in their own way. Some days you just want that perfection. You just want to know where your bullets are going to hit. You want everything to go right. And some days you just want to floor it and see what the hell happens. And that's more like what a Fallout game is. You never know what's going to happen. You're going to walk down the street and a man with a nuclear missile strapped to the back of his head is going to try to kill you. You never know. You might run into a patch of like angry robots that, I don't know, they're like malfunctioning and they're like trying to touch your no-no spot. Who knows? Who knows? That is certainly possible in the game of Fallout. And other days, you just want to play team deathmatch, you know? I'm not going to judge you for playing either. Now, besides all that, what this game really does well versus the older games, and certainly a lot better than Fallout 4, is variety in weapons. Melee weapons counting up into like, I don't know, the 50s, and ranged weapons that can count up to maybe 300. There's a crazy amount of stuff you can do in this game, and each one has their own attachments, perk cards that support the type of weapon. You do have to unlock them. It's more of a grind than the other games, but that's what it is. It's made for you to come back every day. It's not something you beat in 5 days and then you just turn it off and you say you had a great experience. And I'm going to be the first one to say it. I'm probably not the first one to say it, but Fallout 4, not that great when it came to combat. It was kind of boring. There's like 5 different varieties of weapons that you can kind of customize in each way. I don't know. My favorite part about Fallout games is, and even the Elder Scrolls for that matter, is the game didn't tell you how to play it. You know, they gave you a million different ways to beat it, a million different ways to kill people, and they said, you know, choose your poison, pick your poison, have fun, don't do it in real life. Take all your anger out here. And yeah, now my childhood is starting to sound more psychopathic than previously thought, but you know, that's what I did when I was little. I spent thousands of hours on these types of games, and I just lived out my horrible fantasies and didn't do it in real life. Moving on from that, and let's get to the perk cards. The perk cards are a new addition to this very game, and at first I didn't like the idea, but now I do. A game like Fallout 4 where you could just level up to 130 and just have everything and be super OP is so boring. I like Fallout 4. I don't want you guys to think I'm hating on it, but it just, I don't know. It rubbed me kind of the wrong way. But this game, you could set up builds more like in a Dark Souls way. If you want to be that guy that runs in there with a fire axe You could set your build up to have extra damage with melee weapons, tank more attacks, have a faster running speed, everything you would need to make yourself more efficient with that weapon that you're trying to use. And if you wanted to be a guy that stands back in power armor and shoots boulders at people, you can set it up to for heavy guns. It's just, there's a lot of things you could do that adds a lot more variety and a lot more replayability in this game. And if you mess up past level 50, you can take cards and move them around and level up stuff, and it's just a good system that I actually learned to actually like. I wish you would have more perk cards. I wish you could have more than just 50 of them, because I feel like 75 would be a good range to be at. But they did add just like the new legendary ones. There's a whole lot of stuff, and they can add more in the future. Like, people were bitching about like carry capacity, and then they added the ability to have backpacks, and now carrying capacity is no longer an issue. So I don't know, they could do something in the future to make it better. Who knows? Now, that's all I really wanted to talk about for the combat aspect. I could go on for hours about this. I am a true Fallout fanboy, but we're just going to move on to the next category, and that would be story and world building. When the game first came out, the story was suspect to say the least. There was not much going on. There was no people in the game, and I mean like NPCs, not just like people playing online. There was just robots, and you were supposed to pick up story clues by reading pieces of paper, terminals, exploring, talking to robots, and doing like weird like tasks that have never been in games like it before. I'm not gonna lie, it was terrible. It was not fun at all. I'm not a person that reads stuff. So for people like me who would just pick up the piece of paper, spam X to get it off of your screen, would only get context clues from like the little voice recorders, which got irritating after a while. I ended up just skipping those as well. There was kind of like a story where like following the overseer, and then like you ended up like with these robot raiders, and I'm not actually sure. It's been so long, I forgot. It was not interesting at all. Even for a person that just got into games, this would not be acceptable. You would kind of just be like, all right, I'm done. I'm gonna try something else. And it did deserve all the hate and stuff that it was getting, because it really felt like Bethesda was just trying to get a cash grab, kind of like pull an EA on us, you know. And unlike EA, they have taken to our complaints and actually tried to make the game better. They immediately, well, not immediately, it took forever, but they released the Wastelanders DLC, which added all the people back into the world and made it not feel so empty, and then added its own story where you're like raiders, and then you meet a new settlement, and then you try to break into a vault that has all the gold that Fort Knox had in it that they stored under there from the Great War. It is a cool story. It feels like an actual Bethesda game. And then now they just released another story DLC called like New Steel or something. I haven't even played it yet. I'm gonna play the trailer like here in the background, and I think it has something to do with like the Brotherhood of Steel. That is very interesting, because what they're doing is just adding value to this game that people have bought and felt like they were duped of their money. And now we're running into the next category, which is value, which this game had zero value. Not zero, probably like $15 worth of a game value when it first came out. And now I think it has easily enough to be worth that $60 price when it first came out. I think it's not even worth that anymore. It's a real steal. This is a true Fallout game. This is more of a Fallout game than the Elder Scrolls Online is a Elder Scrolls game. And when we're going about online mode, the online interactions are fantastic. Usually online is a crapshoot. You're gonna either get some normal people, and you're gonna get some mixed in assholes that take pleasure in making your life a living hell by killing you, teabag your corpse, cuss you out. In this game, you're gonna run into a bunch of people that are just trying to help each other out, get the brand new stuff. You need a lot of people to do the really hard stuff, but there's people always around, and there's people you walk across, they'll sell you stuff for really cheap or just drop stim packs for you. They see you're low level to ask if you need help doing like a hard thing before they turn the game on. It's just a good community. I really do like it. I never thought I would say that I would like having people in my Fallout game, but if the new Fallout games have just like the people in it, it's not a bad thing, because if you're just trying to explore, you kind of forget that you're online, and then you run into someone, you're like, oh shit, I forgot that there's like 500 other people on this server. And then if you want to do a bunch of raids and stuff, they're just there. It's really cool. Now, I know I sound like a spokesperson for Fallout 76, because I am very surprised with my experience with it. I do feel like I had my money's worth at this point in time. And there is bad parts, like the servers are still like suspect. You'll get lagged out, or I don't know. Who knows what's going on with that server over there. They're not doing it right. if you want to do a specific hard thing, it's kind of hard to get everyone involved unless they also want the same kind of thing. It's a lot better if you get like a group going on. Some things require people, and sometimes you just want to kind of just do it solo and you can't. So there's a lot of issues with having it being a like online social thing. Also, the fact that it's very obviously trying to be like a mobile app where it's trying to be like pay to win. Kind of pay to win's the wrong word, more like monotonous grind. I would really much rather the next game to not be like that. I would like to be able to unlock stuff a lot more quickly, because I'm still going to put a lot of hours into it. I just don't need my barrel attachment to be stuck behind a 50-hour quest. It's not that bad, but you get what I'm trying to say. But that's all of the rambling I'm going to do for today. I'm not trying to make this any longer than it needs to be. It's about time that we rank all of these categories together and we get that final score and see if this game is actually good or bad, depending on all the things we have talked about and how the game just is right now. Now, my rankings will be 1 through 10, and at the end, I will give a percentage point on where the game is, and I'll tell you if I think the game is good or bad. Now, for combat, out of 10, I think Fallout 76 gets a 6.5. And the reason is for all the things I've just said, and you might be thinking, but you were just talking this game up. Like, what the f***? There is a lagginess to this game that has something to do with the server. I don't know. You shoot a bullet and it doesn't connect until like a half second later. You kind of feel like you miss sometimes. It's not all the time, but it's there. It is clunkier, but it's not like a Fallout New Vegas where it is kind of clunky, but your bullets go where they go. And if you get used to it, it actually feels pretty good. Not in this game. This game, it's kind of bad. And it's the same thing with Melee. You kind of swing and then there's a delayed reaction, and it's kind of... you get used to it, but it's just, I don't know. It's where Fallout 3 and New Vegas are clunky in like a good way. This game is clunky in a sort of bad way, but not too bad. All the weapons and everything, it does make up for it. But that 6.5 is where it's gonna stay. That's like that Goldilocks zone. It's not bad, but I would think anything that is like a 7 or above would be good to an exceptional level. And I just don't feel like the combat is there. Now, story and world building, I would also put it at a 6.5, mainly because you do have to get through that old beginning story to get to the new stuff like the Wastelanders, and I don't know about this very new one, but I know definitely for that one. This may not be the case now, but I do know they did improve the older story, made it more fluent. They added NPCs to it, so it's not so weird, like transitioning from just robots to the people. They did do it better, but I just can't. It's all right. The story is intriguing, but it's not great. And no offense to anyone that lives in Appalachia, wherever the that is, it's just not that intriguing. I know it's because it's not like the big next Fallout game. They're probably using like a place that they were just kind of like on the burner about, but they could have made it more interesting. Exploring is super fun. That's one of my favorite parts about these games, and they did it right. There's a lot of things that they added to it, like theme parks and stuff that you go into and some crazy shit happens. They definitely made it more fun than just walking around in Appalachia. No offense, even though it's starting to kind of get offensive, but that's why I have it at a 6.5. Now, interactions online, I have it at an 8.5 for all the reasons I just said. There's nothing more to go over. It's just a great community. I've not run into one person that's being toxic, which is really rare because I've put in like 200 hours. So you'd think at that point you'd find at least one dick, but I haven't found any dicks. So maybe, I don't know, 8.5. Now, funness, this is where I would put it at a 7.5. I have a lot of fun exploring the areas. They put a lot of interesting points, and with each new DLC that they throw in there or update, there's like another thing that they add. There's a lot of cool stuff to be found. It is very Fallout-y, you know, you go around, the buildings are there, each little area's got their own little thing going on. It is fun, very fun to explore, and it's a game that you can get high, get drunk, listen to a podcast, listen to music. You don't even have to pay attention at all. Just walk around, kill just like creatures. There's so many creatures in this game. It's just fun. It's like a game for me, and it's very controversial, but I'm putting it at a 7.5. And last but not least, value for someone that likes these type of games, I'm putting it at an 8. At first it was terrible, but now there's so much stuff. There's at least 200 hours with this stuff, just like in the base game by itself, if you do it like thoroughly. And if you really wanted to like just get the story done, it's not that bad. It's like, I don't know, 50 hours of stuff to do. Still shorter than Red Dead 2. So, you know, you could, if you could get that game done, you could get this done. And not only that, but there's also like a battle royale. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's not, it's whatever. It's just another thing that adds value to it. And it seems like all these DLCs are going to be free. Maybe when it gets more popular, they'll start making you pay for them. But all the things you pay for are just aesthetics. There's not pay to win. So I don't know. The value is pretty good. So yeah, I put it at an 8. So adding all of those brackets together, it comes up to a 74%, which is actually a little bit higher than I thought I was going to get it. So yeah. I would actually say that this game is good now. If this game came out like it is right now, it would not have received any hate. There would be people that would just be like, oh, it's just like another Elder Scrolls Online, but Fallout-y, so different, yeah. But maybe Bethesda needed this little slap in the face so they know not to be dicks. Well, anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you want more videos like this, let me know down below. I am thinking of making one about Cyberpunk, you know, other games like that in the future. I don't know. Let me know. Love you guys. I'll see y'all in the next video.